If I had to pick a team that is a complete sleeper, it's LSU. I think they will win the SEC, and I'm not even joking when I say that. LSU is going to win the SEC, and here's why. I'm going to get into that in just a second. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this video because I've mentioned it in some of my other ones. Here it is. Why LSU will win the SEC. And I promise you I'm not clickbaiting you. I have some real reasons. So, the first thing I wanted to say is let's address the quarterback situation. Jake Burrow was a backup at Ohio State for a while, and he lost out the starting job to, I don't know who their starter is now. I think it's like Nick Hundley or something. He lost the starting job at Ohio State and transferred to LSU where he would get the starting job. And he came in his first game being pretty high up on the hype scale and came in and destroyed a very good Miami defense. And that's, I think, something that should not go unnoticed. The defense that I think a lot of people thought would be top 10 in the country ended up beating LSU. He ended up beating them. And another guy I want to mention is Nick Brossette. Nick Brossette is their running back, and he had to play behind Fournette, and he had to play behind Darius Geis, and now got his chance, and he is shining. Nick Brossette is a great running back that has some unmatched potential that I really am going to be anxious to see because I feel like he can be another great LSU running back like Geis and Fournette. And the wide receiving core is good. They had a lot of electric players that showed up in the game and Jordan Hare. And now the defense. Their run-stopping ability, the front four they have is great. Linebackers are solid. They do have a gap in the secondary, but the one place there is not a gap is the area anywhere within 10 yards of Jake Delpit. He is a corner for LSU, and he has been playing great. He's been locking up receivers. He had an interception on the second play against Auburn. He had a forced fumble against Auburn, too. And he's been playing very well. I really like the play of Jake Delpit. I honestly think he's a top 10 defender in the country. He is a guy that you should not be sleeping on. Jake Delpit's a guy you do not want to miss. But now, I'm going to talk about why they're going to win the SEC, LSU. They have Louisiana Tech next week. That's a win. And then they have some weaker SEC teams like Florida and Tennessee and other games like that. They have two games that are going to make or break them. And they are They already beat Auburn. They have Georgia at home and Alabama at home. Both of those are winnable games. I think if they can win one of those, they could win the SEC and would most likely get into the playoff. I love this LSU team. I think they are not to be slept on. And here's why. I personally think they're better than Georgia, even though Georgia's higher in the rankings, which deservedly so. They were ranked higher at the beginning of the year, and Georgia hasn't really lost yet. But I've been way more impressed by LSU than I have been by Georgia or even Alabama. I feel like we'll get to Alabama later, but I feel like they can probably beat Georgia at home. I mean, the fact that it's at home, I really like that. But another thing I want to talk about is Alabama. Their offense has not impressed me to the fullest potential. And because who have they played against? Louisville, Ole Miss, really? I would hope a high school team could be competitive with them. I mean, Tua hasn't really shown me anything, whereas LSU has shown me that they've beaten two top 10 opponents already. That being Miami and Auburn. And they beat Southern Louisiana, of course. They have Louisiana Tech this week, which I sure hope would be a win. And I really like this team. And I feel like if they could win either against Alabama or Georgia, or possibly both, which I think they will have a chance to do, they could be going 11-1, possibly 12-0 and making the playoff. I'm seriously not joking when I say this. This team is legit. Because let's compare them to Alabama. Quarterback, I think the edge will be slightly towards Alabama. But running back, Nick Brossette is great. Wide receivers, I think LSU might also have. The defense probably goes to Alabama, but still, LSU's defense is not to be slept on. Jake Delpit is a great guy. and he's just been locking down players. And against Auburn, they came out great in the first half, but they had some points where they struggled. But in the fourth quarter, they came to play when the moment mattered, and they're going to need to do that against Alabama. But if this team can play when the moment matters like they did, they made a bunch of big plays against Auburn, this team's not to be slept on, and I actually think they can win the SEC. Because they've proved to me that they are the best team in the SEC so far. Thank you guys for watching. My next 4 videos are going to be about the NHL division previews. I might have Tyler come on for that. I'm going to do 2 of them tomorrow and 2 of them the next day. So make sure you have your post notifications on for that, and I'm anxious to see what LSU does.